Thousands of years ago, deep in the desert, nomadic tribes carried small fabric pouches filled with white, coarse crystals. These weren't just for preserving food, they were spiritual tools. During sandstorms, elders would draw circles around their tents using this mineral, believing it could ward off chaotic spirits. But what did these ancient people know that we've forgotten? What if I told you that this same substance is sitting in your kitchen right now and it's capable of far more than seasoning your food? That crystal is salt. Simple, overlooked, but sacred in more ways than you can imagine. Why is salt mentioned in nearly every major spiritual text? Why is it used in exorcisms, in cleansing rituals, in spells of protection and purification across multiple cultures? And even more curious, why is it still being used today, in secret ceremonies and urban rituals, despite all our scientific advancement? Salt isn't just a mineral. It's a spiritual bridge between the physical and the unseen. Modern psychology studies have shown that ritual actions, like salt baths or protective circles, trigger emotional responses tied to safety and control. This means that salt rituals don't just feel right, they activate something primal. So today, we're going to uncover the ancient secrets of salt, not just as a crystal, but as a tool, a symbol, and a spiritual weapon. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at a grain of salt the same way again. Throughout human history, salt has held deep symbolic meaning. From Egypt to Mesopotamia, it wasn't just used to preserve meat, it was a sacred offering, a sign of divine favor. In ancient Israel, salt represented an eternal covenant. Numbers 18:19 calls it a covenant of salt, a phrase used to describe bonds that cannot be broken. Salt doesn't rot, it resists time. That permanence made it the perfect metaphor for loyalty, purity, and spiritual order. In the Second Temple period, 516 BCE, 70 CE, Jewish rituals required salt to be added to every sacrifice. In Leviticus 2:13, God commands that every offering must be seasoned with salt, not for taste, but for symbolism. Salt marked the act as sacred. It preserved the integrity of the gift, just as it preserved the spiritual bond between God and his people. Even outside Judeo-Christian traditions, this symbolism persists. Greeks and Romans burned salt in rituals to cleanse and protect sacred spaces. It was seen as a purifier, one that could drive away what was impure or disharmonious. Salt's symbolism doesn't stop at purity. It also represents balance. Chemically, it's made of two elements that are unstable alone, sodium and chlorine, yet together they form stability. Spiritually, it mirrors the balance between light and dark, body and soul, chaos and order. That's why it's so often used in magic circles and protective rituals. A pinch of salt can seal an intention. A circle of salt can hold back spiritual interference. It is, quite literally, a crystal of order in a chaotic world. Across continents and cultures, salt appears again and again as a sacred tool. In Christianity, holy water mixed with blessed salt is used in baptisms and exorcisms. It's believed to cleanse not only the physical space, but the soul. In Judaism, dipping bread in salt during meals is a reminder of the divine covenant, a practice rooted in temple rituals over 2,000 years old. In Hinduism, salt is used to cleanse homes and temples, especially during spiritual festivals. It's dissolved in water and sprinkled across thresholds to repel negative energies. Practitioners believe it resets the energy of a space, preparing it for devotion. In Islam, salt is respected as a gift from God. Some traditions say the Prophet Muhammad began and ended his meals with salt as a sign of gratitude and protection. A simple act with deep spiritual resonance. Mystical traditions like Kabbalah view salt as the element of fixation, that which gives form to spiritual energy in the physical world. It's used in meditations and rituals to anchor divine light into reality. Pagan cultures especially in Celtic and Norse practices, use salt to draw ritual circles, creating spiritual boundaries against dark forces. In alchemy, salt was one of the three sacred elements, along with sulfur and mercury. It symbolized the body, the structure that holds spirit and soul, and was essential in every transformation process. Salt is not tied to one religion. It is a universal symbol, recognized, revered, and used across faiths and philosophies. It's a common thread that shows how deeply humans connect the physical and the spiritual through even the simplest of substances. If this video has made sense to you so far, take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel. That way, you'll continue to receive content like this, which invites you to reconnect with what really matters. Salt protects, but it can also harm. It's one of the few spiritual elements acknowledged for its dual nature. While salt can purify a space or ward off harmful energy, in certain occult practices, it's used to bind, curse, or intensify destructive rituals. This isn't fiction. It's well documented in esoteric texts and folk traditions. Salt, like fire, responds to the hand that wields it. When used with intention and respect, it becomes a shield. When used with malice, it becomes a weapon. In medieval Europe, salt was mixed with other substances, like blood or ash, and buried to lock in spiritual curses. Meanwhile, in Genesis, Lot's wife is famously turned into a pillar of salt for defying divine command. This image, often seen as symbolic, also reinforces the idea of salt as judgment, as a warning. It's not always about healing. Sometimes it stands for consequences, stagnation, or irreversible choices. In Kabbalistic teachings, this concept is known as the mirror effect. What you project into a ritual is reflected back at you. Use salt with envy, hate, or revenge in your heart, and those energies might return multiplied. It doesn't distinguish good from evil. It amplifies intention. That's why every responsible spiritual tradition emphasizes preparation before using salt. Mental clarity, emotional alignment, and clean purpose. Salt isn't just neutral, it's responsive. It works with you, not for you. And that makes it one of the most powerful and potentially dangerous spiritual tools ever known. You can pour salt in every corner of your home. You can take a salt bath every week. But unless your intention is aligned, the ritual won't deliver results. That's the core truth about spiritual practices. It's not the action, it's the energy behind it. Salt is a conductor. It responds to your thoughts, your emotions, your will. Without intention, it's just another mineral. Hindu ceremonies often begin with mantras that set a spiritual tone before using salt. Catholic priests bless salt with prayers, making it more than a substance. They turn it into a sacred medium. In modern metaphysical circles, salt is charged through visualization or spoken affirmations. Even science supports this. Studies from frontiers in psychology show that belief and focus during a ritual activate brain regions linked to clarity and emotional balance. So what does that mean for you? It means that a handful of salt isn't enough. Your mindset matters. Your presence matters. When you prepare a ritual, whether it's a bath, a circle, or a sprinkle of salt at your doorway, take a moment to direct your thoughts. Speak your intention out loud. Visualize what you want to clear or protect. That clarity is the true fuel of spiritual work. Salt is a mirror, a messenger, a tool. It doesn't create power, it channels yours. You don't need complex rituals. You need aligned energy. Because when your faith meets purpose, even a pinch of salt becomes a force of transformation. Raw salt is full of imperfections, cloudy, gritty, rough. But through heat and time, it becomes clean, transparent, refined. That's not just a chemical process, it's a metaphor for the human journey. In ancient alchemy, salt symbolized the physical body, the foundation of the soul's transformation. It represented the part of us that must be purified, refined, and aligned with our higher purpose. Spiritual growth isn't about escaping the body. It's about elevating it. Just like salt, we're shaped by pressure, by fire, by experience. Pain, loss, and challenge are like the purifying flame. They strip away illusion. They expose truth. And through that process, we become something new, something clear, stable, and strong. When people take salt baths, they often think they're just washing off bad vibes. But what they're really doing is declaring readiness to transform. They're stepping into the role of the alchemist, taking responsibility for their own evolution. As Paracelsus once wrote, "Salt is the stability of man amidst the chaos of the world." It's what anchors us during spiritual storms. In modern spiritual practices, salt is used in reset rituals, cleansing the aura, releasing trauma, preparing for change. It becomes a symbol of personal rebirth. Each grain, a reminder that even the roughest beginnings can lead to clarity. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are in process, just like salt before it crystallizes into purity. Now that you know the truth about salt, its spiritual history, its symbolic depth, and its transformative power, the question becomes, what will you do with it? Will it stay just a seasoning in your kitchen, or will it become a sacred tool in your spiritual journey? This crystal has been used across time, cultures, and belief systems. It's universal, accessible, but powerful. And now, that power is in your hands. Every ritual, every intention, every moment you choose to work with salt is a chance to realign, to protect, to transform. But it only works if you do. Respect it, understand it, use it with clarity. If you've watched this far, something inside you is ready. Ready to see beyond the surface, ready to tap into ancient wisdom. So here's your next step. Try it. Start small. A circle around your altar, a handful in your bath. Speak your intention. Feel the shift. And if this message awakens something in you, share it. Someone else might be needing exactly this protection. And before you go, check out the video appearing on your screen. It's packed with more insights to deepen your spiritual path. Thanks for watching. And remember, even a grain of salt can change everything, but if you know how to use it.